Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in the K-pop community: infantilization. We all know that sexualization in K-pop is a problem, but why don't we talk about infantilization just as much? Both issues strip idols of their humanity, but infantilization often gets dismissed as cute or harmless. Spoiler alert, it's not. In 2024, this issue is more relevant than ever. First off, let's define infantilization. Infantilization is when someone is treated like a child, even though they're fully grown. Sounds simple, right? But the consequences are anything but. In the K-pop world, this often manifests in fans treating their favorite idols as if they're delicate, innocent beings who can't make their own decisions or handle adult responsibilities. The worst part? It doesn't just apply to idols who debuted young. Even idols well into their 20s and 30s aren't spared. Take Jungkook from BTS, for example. He debuted at 15, and while it was understandable for fans to see him as the baby of the group back then, he's now pushing 30. Despite his numerous attempts to shed that image, whether through his tattoos, piercings, or more mature performances, there are still fans who insist on babying him. They say things like, "He's just a baby, he doesn't know better," or "I miss the old Jungkook." Newsflash, people grow up. Jungkook isn't that 15-year-old boy anymore. He's a grown man who deserves to be treated as such. But Jungkook isn't the only victim. Nikki from ENHYPEN, who debuted at 14, has faced a similar struggle. Despite his consistent efforts to assert his maturity, fans still treat him like a child. In multiple interviews and fan interactions, Nikki has expressed discomfort with being called a baby. Yet, the infantilization persists. Fans seem to think they know what's best for him, even when he's made it clear that he doesn't appreciate being treated like a child. What's even more troubling is how infantilization intersects with cultural misunderstandings. Many Western fans in particular justify infantilization by claiming that idols aren't aware of cultural differences or global issues. But infantilizing someone based on the assumption that they're ignorant is just as harmful as any other form of stereotyping. It separates idols from the rest of the world, as if they live in a bubble where they're oblivious to everything outside of South Korea. The reality is, many idols are highly educated and well aware of global issues, even if they don't always speak out about them. Infantilization isn't just limited to fan interactions either, it's built into the system. Think about the constant edgyo requests idols get on variety shows. Edgyo, or cute behavior, is often forced upon idols as a punishment or for fan service, regardless of whether they want to do it or not. It's become so ingrained in K-pop culture that fans expect idols to comply, even if it makes them uncomfortable. We've seen idols cringe, run off set, or even express embarrassment after doing a jayo, yet the demands never stop. It's particularly frustrating for idols in their 20s or 30s who are constantly pushed to act like children. This brings us to the issue of idol accountability, or lack thereof. Infantilization often leads fans to excuse problematic behavior by saying they didn't know better, or they're too innocent to understand. This narrative not only undermines the idol's agency, but also perpetuates harmful stereotypes. When idols make mistakes, they should be held accountable as adults, not coddled like children. By infantilizing them, fans strip idols of their responsibility, reinforcing the idea that they're incapable of understanding the consequences of their actions. In 2024, this issue has become even more pronounced with the rise of younger idols. Companies are debuting idols at increasingly younger ages, which only exacerbates the problem. For example, Baby Monster, YG Entertainment's new girl group, debuted with members as young as 13. The immediate reaction from fans? Extreme infantilization. Despite the girls being trained professionals, fans still treat them like fragile dolls, incapable of handling the pressures of the industry. Another angle we need to discuss is how infantilization intersects with racism, particularly in the context of male idols. Historically, Asian men have been desexualized in Western media, often portrayed as submissive, docile, or childlike. The infantilization of male idols plays into this stereotype, reducing them to harmless, non-threatening figures who need to be protected rather than respected. It's a subtle but pervasive form of racism that often goes unnoticed, but it's incredibly damaging. When fans infantilize male idols, they're not just stripping them of their adulthood, they're feeding into a racist narrative that has existed for over a century. But let's not get it twisted. Sexualization and infantilization are not mutually exclusive. In fact, the two often go hand in hand, especially when it comes to younger idols. Take the case of Garam and Yoonchae from Les Seraphim. During the Fearless era, these idols, both minors at the time, were given choreography that many considered too mature for their age. Fans were quick to sexualize them, but at the same time, they were infantilized by those who insisted they were too innocent to understand what they were doing. It's a toxic cycle where idols are either too childlike to know better or too mature to be treated with respect. Both perspectives are dehumanizing and fail to acknowledge that these idols are, first and foremost, people. So, why does this matter? Why should we care about infantilization in K-pop? Because it's not just about how fans perceive idols, it's about how idols perceive themselves. When idols are constantly infantilized, it can lead to a crisis of identity. They're told they're too young to make decisions, too innocent to understand the world, and too cute to be taken seriously. Over time, this can erode their self-confidence and limit their personal growth. It's not just annoying, it's damaging. In conclusion, infantilization in K-pop is a serious issue that needs to be addressed. It's not just about fans treating idols like children, it's about stripping them of their autonomy, reducing their worth to how cute or innocent they are, and perpetuating harmful stereotypes. As we move further into 2024, it's time for K-pop fans to take a step back and reassess how they engage with their idols. Let's stop babying them and start respecting them as the adults they are. So, what do you think? Have you noticed infantilization in the K-pop community? How do you think it affects the idols and the industry as a whole? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more K-pop discussions. Your support helps us bring these important issues to light.